The United Nations has officially denied reports that Secretary General Ban Ki-moon would be visiting North Korea soon. The government is monitoring the security of Korean diplomatic establishments as it raises the terror alert level by one notch for domestic institutions. Mixed signals from North Korea Wednesday as it repatriates one South Korean national detained in the north but postponed a South Korean NGO visit. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, November 18th. I'm Luke Clary. We begin with the previously reported upcoming visit to North Korea by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Preparations seem to have hit a significant snag. The United Nations has officially denied the reports of the upcoming trip. Here's more.
The UN has officially denied some media reports saying that Secretary General Ban Ki-moon will visit Pyongyang this week.
The Secretary General is back here on Monday. He's got a very full week, including the CB report.
The UN spokesman said that Mr. Ban had always said that he's ready to play any role in order to help enhance dialogue, stability, and peace on the Korean Peninsula, but added that he has no further comment at this time over Ban's possible visit to North Korea.
We asked him for 5 years when is he going to Pyongyang. He keeps saying it's too soon.
I completely understand your need for me to use further words, but I really have no further words to use.
Meanwhile, North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency hinted that related negotiations were underway. It said that Secretary General Ban's visit to Pyongyang is still being determined and has no more details on the matter. A source at the UN specified the country name of North Korea, hinting at last-minute hurdles in negotiations on Ban's visit.
The government says it's closely monitoring the security of about 20 South Korean diplomatic establishments overseas that are facing an immediate terrorist threat. The government has also raised the terror alert level by one notch for domestic institutions.
At the latest emergency parliamentary briefing, which began with a moment of silence, the Foreign Ministry announced that South Korea could become a target of IS anytime, anywhere. The ministry added that it is closely monitoring the security of about 20 South Korean diplomatic establishments overseas that are facing immediate threat from terrorists.
구체적인 국가의 명단은 이제 우리 공관이 주재하고 있는 나라와의 어떤 마찰 가능성 등이 있기 때문에 밝히질 않고 있습니다.
The Foreign Ministry said in its report that it plans to expand its financial contributions to the UN's anti-terror response and increase humanitarian aid to disputed regions. Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-won instructed the cabinet to do everything possible to ensure the security of Korean nationals currently residing overseas. He also called for an escalation of the terror alert level for major domestic facilities and diplomatic offices, as well as a tightening of immigration control and strengthened anti-terrorism laws. Meanwhile, the government has raised the nation's terror alert level by one level from concern to caution.
President Park Geun-hye is visiting the Philippines to attend the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit. On Wednesday, she will hold bilateral talks with her Canadian and Filipino counterparts.
President Park Geun-hye arrived in the Philippines Tuesday to attend the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum. Before the official APEC schedule kicks off, she will hold her first summit talks with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who recently assumed power in his country.
첫 회담으로서 개인적 친분을 쌓는 한편 한 카나다 양국 간 우호 실질 협력 관계를 보다 심화시키는 계기가 될 것으로 기대됩니다.
President Park will also hold talks with Philippine President Benigno S. Aquino III and discuss cooperation in politics, national defense, and economy, as well as measures to step up protection of Korean nationals in the Southeast Asian nation. Park will then attend a meeting with the APEC Business Advisory Council and an unofficial dialogue with the Pacific Alliance, which is a Latin American trade bloc consisting of 4 countries bordering the Pacific Ocean: Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru. With increased security at the APEC summit following the Paris terror attacks, leaders are also expected to discuss anti-terrorism efforts.
North Korea has repatriated 1 South Korean national who had been detained in the north. However, Pyongyang also says it wants to postpone a South Korean NGO visit to the north, which was originally scheduled for Wednesday. Here's more.
North Korea repatriated 1 South Korean national on Tuesday afternoon, a 48-year-old man surnamed Lee, via the truce village of Panmunjom. Lee was reportedly detained in late September when he was trying to enter the north by crossing the border between North Korea and China at the Yalu River. The North notified the South of the repatriation on Tuesday morning in a letter signed by Red Cross Chairman Lee Chung-bok. It's the 3rd repatriation of South Korean nationals who voluntarily entered the North this year alone. The previous 2 cases involved a married couple and a South Korean student attending college in the U.S. The Ministry of Unification welcomed the move and urged Pyongyang to further repatriate 3 South Korean missionaries who are still being detained in the north as soon as possible. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the North abruptly decided to postpone the visit of members of the South Korean NGO Council for Cooperation with North Korea, just 1 day ahead of its scheduled trip. The Unification Ministry said Pyongyang asked to postpone the visit for the time being due to internal circumstances.
It's said that even with cheaper cuts of meat, you can enjoy a texture similar to that of an expensive cut if you prepare it in just the right way. We have tips on how to slice meat to enjoy the best possible experience for your money.
Domestic Korean beef called Hanu is sold at the corner of a large supermarket. Prices went up 20% this year, and not many customers can afford it.
애들들이 고기를 좋아해서 한우를 즐겨 먹었는데 요즘은 너무 비싸가지고.
The good news is that just by properly cutting inexpensive cuts of meat, one can enjoy the same meatiness as a top-rated cut. For instance, if a rough piece of thin flank is cut across the grain, the meat is 3 times more tender than when sliced along the grain. In comparison, thin flank sliced across the grain was even more tender than an expensive tenderloin sliced along the grain.
근육은 근섬유라고 하는 긴 섬유질로 구성이 되어 있습니다. 그러니까 그 섬유가 이렇게 직각으로 잘리면 나중에 씹기가 훨씬 편하게 되죠.
This is why some high-end restaurants employ an exclusive chef who mainly slices meat. The taste depends on how it's cut. Cutting across the grain also severs muscle fibers, which helps seasoning to be better absorbed, bringing out more robust flavors. Meat can also be tenderized by aging it or by pounding it with the back of a knife.
Information technologies are gradually becoming a part of fashion. Functional bags and apparel equipped with wireless communication technologies are becoming a reality.
Before getting in his car, a driver holds his smartphone to a button on his suit to launch a GPS app. If the driver receives a phone call while driving, he or she can answer it right away without changing the settings. When a meeting begins, smartphones switch to mute. All of this is performed using a short-range wireless communication device embedded in the buttons of a suit. This bag with a smartphone inside emits lights of different colors according to whether it's receiving a phone call, a text message, or a social media message. The lights on the bag also flash when the phone is moved away past a certain distance.
생활의 불편함을 없애기 위해서 만들었고, 가방에서 핸드폰을 잃어버리는 것을 방지하기 위해서 만들었습니다.
This thermal attire is heated by a built-in battery. The temperature and humidity are adjusted using smartphone Bluetooth technology.
열 손실을 최소화하면서 간편하게 온습도를 제어를 하면서 편리성을 주고 있습니다.
Thanks to information technologies, fashion items are evolving to become more comfortable and functional.
Chinese influence has been spreading to Korean stage productions recently. Korean perspectives are even incorporated into Chinese plays and presented by local theaters. Here's more.
The Orphan of Zhao, one of China's 4 greatest tragedies, was made into a TV series. The story is about a man, the only survivor of the massacre of his 300-member family, who seeks revenge on his enemy. The Korean stage production, based on the Chinese tale, naturally features flamboyant action scenes. Although written 700 years ago, the Chinese classic has a solid plot and attention-grabbing scenes, just as impressive as its modern counterparts. Another concurrently running production looks at the orphan's story from a different perspective. This production presented a different take on the story to measure up to its nickname, Hamlet of the East, by focusing on the human struggles of supporting characters, instead of the son who succeeds in avenging his family's death.
복수가 필요하다면 꼭 해야 된다. 하지만 했다고 해서 후련해지는 것은 아니다라는 이야기를 꼭 하고 싶었습니다.
In addition to this Chinese classic, modern Chinese plays are to be showcased around the Taehangno area in Seoul starting on Wednesday. From movies to TV shows to stage plays, Korea is seeing a wider spectrum of cultural imports from China.
K-pop group God came together again last year to enjoy great success. The group is getting ready now for grand year-end concerts. This and more coming up in today's Showbiz News.
Group God is to embark on a series of concerts in major Korean cities, including Daegu and Busan. The 5-member group will kick off the tour with 5 concerts in Seoul, starting on November 26th. Having regrouped after 12 years apart, GOD's 5 members released an album and held concerts last year to the delight of their fans. This is their first concert in a year and a half. Hip-hop duo Dynamic Duo have returned from a 2.5-year break with their 8th studio album. Its title track, Jam, expresses the excitement of a budding romantic relationship with a unique beat and lyrics, delivering the trademark uplifting style of the duo. Other hip-hop artists such as Crush, Zico, and Verbal Jint also took part in the album. Singer Roy Kim will meet with fans at a year-end solo concert slated to start on December 18th and last for 3 days. Having gained a strong following with Spring, Spring, Spring released in 2013, Roy Kim is again thrilling his fans with news that he'll be releasing a new winter song at the concert. A new production of juvenile delinquent KW 4839 is being staged. The maiden production of the play for young people was sold out last year. The play is a cheerful portrayal of young people who seek out their life paths in the midst of anxiety and excitement.
Eggs are a favorite food among many people, but most of us cook eggs in just one of a few time-tested ways. Today, we will learn more about interesting and tasty styles of cooking an egg. With their abundant nutrients, eggs are considered among the healthiest foods from nature. Here's one unusual way to eat eggs. Preserve them in a bottle of vinegar and eat even the softened eggshells.
초라는 칼슘이 특히 풍부한 식품인데요. 달걀의 껍질에 함유가 되어 있는 칼슘이 식초에 용해가 되면서 보통의 칼슘보다 흡수가 잘 되기 때문에 갱년기 여성의 골다공증뿐만 아니라 관절염과 같은 골질환에 좋습니다.
Here's a recipe to make vinegar-soaked eggs. First, wash the eggs in running water. Wipe the eggs with a dry cloth and put them in a glass bottle before pouring in the vinegar. Pour 200 milliliters of vinegar for each egg. In this amount of vinegar, eggshells are melted easily. Next, Close the lid tightly and leave the bottle at room temperature for 7 days. A week later, the eggshells are melted down in vinegar with only a thin layer of membrane left. Take the eggs out and pop them with a toothpick. Then the yellow yolk appears. Put the vinegar eggs back into the bottle again and stir to mix them with vinegar. Now, vinegar egg is ready, and you just drink the liquid. If you don't like the taste of raw eggs, you can soak only the eggshells in vinegar to eat.
껍질만 사용하시게 되면 달걀 노른자에 있는 혈관 건강에 도움을 주는 레시틴의 효능을 놓칠 수는 있지만 칼슘 섭취를 주 목적으로 드시는 분들이라면 충분히 효과를 보실 수가 있습니다.
Honey is a good match with vinegar eggs. Pour vinegar eggs to 2/3 of a cup and add a spoon of honey. Softening the taste of raw eggs, honey makes vinegar eggs sweet. Honey and vinegar eggs can be a great salad dressing. Vinegar eggs are a natural nutritional supplement that you can easily make at home. They can also become a good component of your diet that will help you stay in good shape. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.